Today, I want to introduce you to someone very special. Her name is Sue. Before we begin, I want to ask you to set aside any assumptions you may have about adoption, about motherhood, or about grief. Because this is not a story about judgment. It's a story about love. It's a story about loss. And ultimately, it's a story about healing. Sue, thank you for trusting us with your story. Many years ago, Sue was a very young woman. She found herself pregnant at a time when she had very little control over the decisions that were made around her. Like many young women of her generation, Sue found herself living in a time when family expectations and society often left young mothers with very few choices. She wasn't allowed to hold him after he was born. She left the hospital with empty arms, but never with an empty heart. Just let that sink in for a moment. The ache of absence before you even get to say hello. Psychologists call this disenfranchised grief, a grief that society doesn't always recognize. But recognize or not, it is real. Love is never wasted. But whether others see it or not, it is real and it deserves compassion. Sue made the most loving decision she believed she could make under circumstances no young woman should ever have had to face. When she learned he had been placed with a family who loved him deeply, she held onto that hope. It became her lifeline. Every year on his birthday, Sue stayed home. That day was sacred. She lit a candle, love, remembrance, peace, and imagined his face, his laugh, who he might have been taking after. She rehearsed the voice she would tell him one day. My boy, you were always loved. Although they never met again, she never stopped being his mother. She carried guilt and love together. Hope became her companion. And after 18 years, the files were finally opened. He was old enough. She could meet him. She prepared herself emotionally, spiritually, practically. This was the day she had been waiting for. Then came the news. It was the 31st of August, 1997. Sue had written to his adopted parents, hoping that now he was 18, that they finally might meet. When their reply arrived, she could hardly wait to open it. Standing in the middle of a shopping center, she unfolded the letter with trembling hands. She expected to read that her son wanted to meet her. Instead, she learned that he drowned years earlier, in 1981. Everything that she had carried for 18 years, every hope, every imagined conversation, every dream of finally saying, I have always loved you, disappear in one single moment. Years later, Sue learned that the accident happened when another young child pushed him into a swimming pool during an argument. It was a heartbreaking tragedy, one that had changed many lives. There was no one to blame, only more sorrow. The reunion she had waited for would never come. She never kissed him goodbye. She never got to tell him she loved him. She never would know whether he liked sport, whether he laughed loudly, whether he had her eyes, whether he was happy. She simply had to keep on living, carrying a grief that has no place to go. This is a grief unlike any other. It's a grief of missed memories, the grief of what could have been, the grief of never hearing Mum from his adult voice, the grief of not being there in his life or his death. But grief isn't measured by time spent together. It is measured by love, and Sue loved him every single day. Let's talk about what healing looks like after a loss that society doesn't always understand. Because Sue's story teaches us something important. Grief doesn't wait for permission. It shows up in your breath, your sleep, your relationships. It lingers in the pause before a conversation, in the weight on your chest when you hear that song. And it doesn't always look like what people expect. Over the years, Sue slowly discovered a few truths that help her keep on moving forward. Perhaps one of them will speak to you. You don't need anyone's approval to feel what you feel. Stop comparing your pain. Heartbreak has no hierarchy. Speak your truth, even if your voice shakes. Honor the version of you that have survived. Let yourself be angry. Reclaim your story. Sue is still his mother. Reclaiming the mother within isn't about pretending the grief is gone. It's about shifting from waiting to creating. It looks like speaking to yourself with gentleness, setting boundaries that keep you safe, feeding your body, resting when you are tired, allowing joy without guilt, trusting your inner wisdom instead of silencing it. You become the mother who notices, who listens, who believes, the one who whispers, I see you, I've got you. And Sue learned to honor his life through rituals, letters, memory making, and overall to forgive herself. She acted out of love, not out of failure. Self-forgiveness is not forgetting. It is releasing the burden of guilt and shame. It is acknowledging that you are a work in progress, capable of growth and change. Sue's story can help others who carry silent grief. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means learning to carry love without being crushed by the weight of loss. If you have loved a child you could not raise, if you have waited for a reunion that never happened, if you have lost someone you never had a chance to know, your grief is real, your love is real, and your healing matters. Sue told me something that touched my heart. She said she hopes her story helps even one other person feel a little less alone, because grief hidden in silence rarely heals. But when someone finally says, I understand, a little light begins to return. And perhaps that's why we are here today. Perhaps your story is different from Sue's. Perhaps you've lost a child. Perhaps you lost a parent, a husband or a wife, a dear friend. Or perhaps you simply lost the future you once imagined. Whatever grief you carried, I hope Sue's story reminds you of this. Love is never wasted. It always leaves something beautiful behind, even if that beauty takes years to see. Love leaves its marks, even if life doesn't unfold as what we have hoped. And while grief may change us, it doesn't have to define the rest of our lives. May you find peace in the love you gave, strength in the love you carried, and healing in the love that is still lives inside you. Because love does not end with love. Sometimes it simply changes the way it lives within us. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.